I have seen a lot and created a lot, but none as fun as Fenrir. That felt weird to say. Fun. It's a word that's been missing from my vocabulary for centuries. There is just something about this planet that I enjoy. It is far more interesting than I anticipated, and that's why I just can't seem to let it go. You would think leaving it alone and seeing where things go from here would be the correct course, but I just keep adding more and more to see where this journey takes us. The planet's name is Fenrir, but the humans living on it call their main continent Fenrir too. The humans, known as Fenins to each other, are born from the elf god Jakari. It's strange that he made humans and not more elves. He's a bit conceited, so maybe he wanted to be unique and be the only elf on Fenrir. Either way, this story isn't about him. It's about the overall structure of Fenrir and its ever-evolving terrain. The main chunk of the continent is divided into the east and the west, onyx and obsidian respectively. The south is where the Deadlands grow, an oxymoron, but the best way to describe it. A few lands are just north of onyx and obsidian, but if you cross the water they call the Fen Seas, you reach a whole new land entirely. A snow-covered continent the Fenins call Isla. Most instances of planets I've experienced before my days like this would often be colder the more north you go. I noticed that on Earth, for my brief time there, and it was like that on the planet that I'm from, Thria. Those experiences both seem so long ago. And now here I am, playing on these planets like they're my sandboxes. I don't treat them all like Fenrir, though I most certainly could, but like I said earlier, this one is just special to me. So I add things. A continent here, a city there, new people with new purpose and their own stories. Fenrir is so fascinating that I can put the wheels in motion, and the Fenins typically take over, spinning the narrative, creating their own way, their own problems and their own solutions. There are so many tales still to be shared and some I haven't even thought of yet. While I typically like to stay out of the conflict on the main continent, I'm always thinking of new ways to spice things up. Like an honorable knight in Obsidian when you think she should be from Onyx. A once respected king who suddenly has ulterior motives, or a cat demon that grows stronger with age. The possibilities are endless, thanks to my design. If things slow down on the main continent or Isla, there's also Sabia. If things slow down on Sabia, or I feel I just want more action, there's plenty of room above Sabia for another continent, if I so desire. Not to mention the constant threat of outside interference. Cyborgs from distant lands converging on Fenrir to settle their differences. Visitors from other planes of existence, and people with the power of gods that I did not create. At least not intentionally. I'm trying to think back to when Fenrir became so special to me. I created it. I enjoyed playing around with its structure. But I do that with a lot of planets. I think if I had to trace it back to one specific moment in time, it would have to be when Aelia told me about a battle atop the mountain of Shair. If you've been following along, you know the one. But it was the first time in a long time, probably about as long since I last used the word fun, that I needed help. A battle of this scale threatened to tear the world apart, and Fenrir had grown too important to me to leave to its own destruction. Even I'm not sure how two men were capable of something on this scale, but I think when I got involved I somehow made it worse before I made it better. You see, a being of my caliber doesn't need help often, so when I do need assistance, it takes on the form of something beyond most people's basic abilities of comprehension. When you take an entity like me, and another entity like me, and drop them on a planet following the regular makeup, it could have catastrophic repercussions. And it almost did. It probably would have if we weren't what we are. Sure, with a mere thought I could end blood rain and a volcanic eruption. I can stop the sea from overflowing and the ground from ripping apart. But sometimes I like to just sit back and see how things play out, as long as the planet itself is still standing afterwards. That's why I think I'd rather just watch from the sidelines and not get involved ever again. I'll insert more content when I feel the need for it, or move things around if I feel it's dragging on. But Fenrir has become my new favorite show, and I'd hate to ruin it.